Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's Communications from Home. And I'm actually going to put that on the screen. We are at a very new time on a Tuesday. We usually broadcast on Tuesday evenings, but today, obviously, we're in the afternoon. And I'll tell you why in a second. For some reason, I spell better when I'm actually concentrating on what I'm typing. Just in case some people are joining us and they haven't joined us before, you're watching Star Nation's Communications from Home. We're a show that's a part of Star Nation's radio network, and I am your host, Neshi Lokotz. And we are live streaming from Facebook via powered by Be Live TV, and we love our partners at Be Live TV because their app helps us to do some really cool stuff for our radio shows, which we used to be just audio, right? Internet radio, and now you guys get to join us live, which I love. I love that, and so our viewers who are regulars. And part of our Star Nation's community. Hey, Meg just popped in. Hi, Meg. Yeah, and I just popped up on your Facebook. That's right, because we are doing Star Nation's from Communications from Home this afternoon, because my guests are co-hosts for a radio show right here on our own network, From Star to Stones, and one of my guests is from London. And so in order for him to be on the show and awake, we had to move it to the afternoon just for today. And it'll be interesting to see how this works out in an afternoon show. Who knows? Maybe I'll move my show to the afternoon. That'd be kind of cool if we did that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So for those of us that are with us right now, if you would please do me a favor and share and like the broadcast, the show, I would appreciate it. And that helps us in a couple of different ways. It helps us to remind our friends about the show, because, people get busy and they think, oh, I was going to watch that show and I forgot. So if you could help us to remind people, just let them know, just share it. You can share it to your timeline or to a group, however you'd like to do that. We would appreciate it. And liking it or loving it would even be better. Much better. So I want to introduce to you two people, and actually one of them, Tracey, isn't able to join us this afternoon. I've been watching for her. She's going to try to join us as soon as she can, if she can. We had scheduled this interview and something came up for her. She works with elderly people, and one of her clients needed her. And so we'll see. She might pop in. You never know. You never know. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my guests. And like I said, they're co-hosts for a radio show, live stream show here on Facebook with us, Star Nation's Radio Network. And the name of their show is Stars from Star to Stones. That's it, From Star to Stones. And they just started their show this past year, and it really has a lot of people following it because they talk about some really cool stuff. And so I'm going to introduce you to Mervyn Kelly. And Mervyn is, I'm going to read his bio that we have for him directly from the radio. Okay. Mervyn lives and works on the east coast of Britain. Spiritually, he walks the Druid path and is a Reiki master and teacher, but continues to study other alternative and natural healing methods. Mervyn also makes Celtic and spiritually inspired arts and crafts, and I've seen some of them. They're pretty cool, and has been involved with exhibiting photography nationally. Mervyn and Tracey, his co-host, Tracey Sivek, are the co-hosts of From Star to Stone, and their show is on the second Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Eastern time here in the United States. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about his co-host too before I bring Mervyn on. Tracey Tracey is an alternative therapist and healer who works and lives in Traverse City, Michigan. Her work crosses multiple disciplines, and it does. She's a Reiki master energy healer. She's a spiritual counselor and paranormal consultant. She's a ghost hunter. She is also a coordinator of the Alternative Healthcare Collaborative. Tracey enjoys working with psychic children and young adults, helping them to develop their gifts. And she also writes poetry, and she's an author of a book called Zero Evidence of Life. And you know what? We're going to have them on again some other time, and so that both of them can be on the show at the same time. In the meantime, I'm going to bring Mervyn on, okay? So here we are. Hello there.
Hello. Hello, world.
Hello, world. Welcome to Star Nation's Communications from Home.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we have Meganudo is in the house, and she says, I'll take you anytime in any way, live or archive. She is so funny. Thank you, Meg. She is so funny. So I'll tell you what, Mervyn, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today. And yeah, and that, you know, some people who may not be familiar with Star Nation's radio network or even the magazine may not may not be aware that we are a global multimedia company. And when I say we're global, I really do mean global because Mervyn's in the UK, and we have Paul Krause in Kyoto, Japan, right? And we used to have one of our writers who contributed to the magazine from South Africa. We've had people from Ireland contributing. So we are a very global company. And so Mervyn brings to us a background in Druids and how Druids work in the ancient way. And so, Mervyn, when you decided, and thank you very much for saying yes to doing your show, because it's brought such good information to people.
It's my pleasure. It was a bit of a diving at the deep end kind of thing, because one of the aspects of the work that I've been doing for myself personally has all been to do with my voice and being able to express myself and generally talk to people, because I was very hidden. So when the opportunity arose, it was for many reasons a dive in at the deep end, otherwise I wouldn't do it. So I dove in.
Thank you. Into the deep end with us.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just sharing our show with the radio network, just to let them know we are live streaming. There we go. So when you say jumping into the deep end, and that's because you've been quiet. You're quietly doing your work, right?
Quietly doing my work, but more than that, I mean, throughout life, since I was very, very tiny, you wouldn't know that I was there. And it was and especially when you've got something to say that may be helpful, or you may know something that somebody needs, and not actually being able to express that in any way whatsoever. I found it. There came a point, and as there have been many points over the past few years, when I've actually had to been guided to sit up and take note, and finally not what's the word I'm looking for? Not shying away from it, not avoiding it, not ignoring that message. This was one of those messages. In you go, boy. That's what it was.
Well, and I'm so glad that you said yes, because the kind of information that you bring through your show with Tracey is the kind of information that I want to say can only be expressed through your show and through you and Tracey. And I'll give you an example. Just the name of your show alone. How did you come to name your show From Star to Stone?
Well, there's a number of routes running through that, a number of branches, routes, connecting this. And from my perspective, through my native spiritual beliefs, and which mirror quite a lot of the Native American beliefs, and well, more so that from what I've learned up to now and how I see things, all the native spiritual belief systems of all the lands of the whole earth understand each other.
Yeah.
They understand each other, and they don't. You don't need to call things the same. But if whatever I say to you as a Native American, or whatever you say to an Australian Aboriginal, we know what we mean because we do the same thing in different ways, and we call them different things, but they're the same. So part of it was the connection with the stars, our innate connection with the stars. This is where we originated. Every molecule, every atom of our body was created within the stars. And then we have the connection with our own earth and the stones of our own earth. So that's where it came from.
Yeah.
The connection of the two.
I have a picture here I want to show people. We're just going to give it its own little solo here. This was created for your show by our partners at Elf Elm Publishing. They do our layout and almost all of our ad work they do for us. And I had found this picture and I liked it because it kind of related the title of your show, the name of your show, and the fact that it's Stonehenge, really connects with you. And so I just wanted to show people, this is one of the promotions that we run in the magazine every month. And all the shows get this kind of promotional work. But I wanted to share that with everybody because I think it's a beautiful layout, but it really does capture, I think, the name of your show pictorially.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the fact that you also do photography, you get
when I can. It's just not like I used to these days, but
yeah.
But yes.
Okay, so with the name of your show and the kind of topics that you bring to us, because there might be some people watching this broadcast, this live stream, who might not even caught your show yet. What kind of topics do you like to bring to your audience?
Well, we've done. I've not counted how many shows we've done. We've done a few now, and they're all different but connected in some particular way. So one of the earlier ones we talked about truth, and how a particular truth. There are the way I see things, two types of truth. There's a personal truth that can be interpreted in different ways by different people, or a universal truth which is true no matter who you are. And the discerning between the two and accepting somebody else's truth that might be different from your own, but it's still true for them. And the last show that we did, we were talking about traditions. So,
Yeah.
bringing back old traditions, and maybe even superstitions, some people could call some of them. But, looking back to the old ways where we were actually connected with the earth, we were actually connected with each other. We had respect for the earth and each other and the animals and the
Mhm.
sky and the waters. And so there's in how the way we kind of choose the topic is in that spiritual way where we open ourselves up to get the message that we're going to talk about that particular month.
Mhm.
So it comes to us. We don't set out to, oh, let's talk about this or that or whatever.
Right.
It's
Right.
it's more guided than that. We're guided to what we need to talk about.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. So
Spiritually
it's
guided, and
yeah.
I would say all of the hosts are that way, and even the contributing writers. They choose we give them the topic to write about, but
Mhm.
how spirit gives them the message to deliver through that topic and through the magazine. So, can you tell us about, since Tracey obviously can't join us because otherwise she'd already be here?
Yeah.
Um, so, can you share some stuff about Tracey and how did you guys team up to do this co-hosting on your show?
Oh, that's a long story. That goes back 5, 6 years now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, maybe longer. A friend of mine who's a writer introduced us to on a writer's site. Now, I don't consider myself a writer, and Tracey says I should write because I'm brilliant. There's a little bit of disparity there, but
Yeah.
how I see what I do and how I see what she does. Anyway, so we struck up a friendship on this writing website, um, and I had an idea for a book that I was planning. No, sorry, I'm jumping forward a little bit. I um, I had a photographic expedition. Ex,
Exhibition.
that's the word. Yes.
I can
Um,
help out.
um, that I'd run called 13 Hours, and it was I'd taken one photograph every 13 hours for a whole year, and
Mm.
I displayed them and so on and so forth. Anyway, then I had the idea to open that up to anybody and everybody that had an idea that could relate to the themes within that
Mm-hmm.
that I felt were within that exhibition of time, life, thought, memory, and so on and so forth. So, and I invited Tracey to be part of that, and she wrote a poem, and we had a couple of shows on that
Mm-hmm.
with lots of other people. I had writers, musicians,
Collaboration, hey?
a big collaboration thing. And it was quite well received locally, but it didn't really go any further than that, even though I tried,
Mm-hmm.
for various options. And then I had my next idea, which was a book of sunrise photographs every Sunday for another year, which was 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And I was I was part way through the year, and I thought this is going to be needing more than just my photographs. And I went, Tracey, can you do some poetry for the book?
Yeah.
She said yes. So that was that. So we did that book,
Mm-hmm.
and then I took myself off to Michigan 5 years ago. Um, I've got family who live near Washington D.C. So
Mm-hmm.
when she knew I was visiting them, she said, "Well, you got to come and visit now, don't you?" So I said, "Okay." And I got in a car and drove from Washington D.C. to Traverse City, which is a long way.
About 10 hours. Yeah.
It took me 14,
Yeah.
um, especially considering I drive like a little old lady in America. I'm super careful that I never, not even half a mile an hour over the speed limit. I just
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't dare.
Yeah.
And So, and that was the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah.
So, and from then on, don't tell my family in DC, but I haven't been back there since. I've not told them I keep coming to the States. It's our secret, everybody.
Everybody and how many thousands that will view the video.
Yeah, it's our secret.
Yeah.
Um, and that was a very key moment in my life, though. That point in my life allowed me to open up to everything that was trying to come through to me, but I was, for many reasons, whether it be afraid of, be just not. I can't really describe it, but there was a major blockage where I knew all this was real. I knew all this existed. I knew I was part of this whole spiritual world.
Sure.
I didn't know how to get there, or even if I deserved to be within it. But there was that key moment. That trip opened up everything, and and since then I've been learning how to be the me I was always supposed to be, without being afraid of it anymore.
Right.
Not being afraid of it, but being afraid of what other people may react to it.
Right. And so that first show that you guys did about truth really had the seeds from that.
Yeah.
Living your own truth, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I love that show.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thanks for sharing that, because I think Tracey, she is a sweetheart, and
yes,
she's got
is.
a sense of humor that you can't help but laugh when she's on a roll. And she speaks from her heart. She's truthful.
Yes.
She'll tell you, right?
That's true. And she's truthful about herself as well. She's truthful to herself. So that's a big, brave step to take. Yeah,
it is. And so putting this team together and taking it literally on the internet road, so to speak, is combining your gifts into this one show called From Star to Stone, and being able to bring, that last show that you guys did on the traditions and bringing it into what does it look like today was fascinating. Things that people don't even connect to an ancient tradition to what we're doing today. And just the use of a broom. I think you guys talked about brooms.
Yeah, the don't take a if you bought a new house, if you're moving into a new home, don't take your old broom with you. Always buy a new broom.
Yeah. And so I got to check the time because I have so many questions. But
7:23.
I also promised that we're going to keep these shows to a half hour if we can.
Okay.
Sometimes we spill over. I just wanted to ask you a question about the Druid lifestyle, the belief system that you've chosen in this lifetime to express.
I didn't choose it.
It chose me. Yeah. You came in with it.
He said, really and truly, yes, I absolutely did. Because when I really started looking at after that first trip, who I was and where I should be going and what I should be doing, that was the one thing that I always knew they were there. I'd known about the Druids, that not a great deal of history at the time, but I knew they were still there. In this land, they were still there. The Romans hadn't gotten rid of us quite so effectively as they thought they had. So it was easy to just go, okay, I'm ready now. Show me.
Yeah.
And there's quite a number of different Druid groups with different aspects, I suppose. But so I just went looking for the ones to teach me, and I found the ones with the you know the right ones when you find them for yourself.
That's right.
And the ones that really spoke to me, the Order of Bards, Ovates, and Druids, they were just brighter than everybody else, and I knew that was where I belonged.
Those are your peeps.
Yes. Yeah, those are my British peeps, and my American peeps are over there. So I've got 2 lots of peeps. I'm so lucky.
That's right. You are very blessed, very blessed. And so, in our last show, because I co-host a show called Spirit of Color with 2 of my friends, and we did the color of the seasons just earlier this month, and the question was, for the winter solstice for me is like, what are the colors of the solstice? And I honestly never really sat down and really thought about it much, and is that the colors come from nature.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as I was doing the research for it, it's not that mistletoe is indigenous to the United States, to Turtle Island. But when I was doing the research and the mistletoe, and I can't remember which resource it was, but it was saying that in ancient days, the Druids were the ones who would go out to harvest the mistletoe for the ceremonies around that time, right? And most people don't know that mistletoe grows up in the branches of an oak tree. It's not an easy easy thing to harvest.
No, it's not. No, you have to go and find it. You have to be not be too afraid of heights when you're actually harvesting some of it. One of the old legends was that they would use a golden sickle to cut the mistletoe to harvest it. But gold's too soft. You can't use a golden blade to cut anything.
That's so funny. But when I read that, I thought of you, and I was thinking, that can't be. It couldn't have been an easy thing to do, but it was. But they were the only ones that did the harvesting, because I would imagine that there was certain prayers or certain an exchange was done with nature, because that's what we would do. That's what Native done.
Yeah, everything is done in such a way that you respect what you're taking, and you are. And again, one of those things with the Druids, you can term. There's no 2 Druids the same. Every single one is slightly different.
Yeah.
So, when I talk about it, I only speak from what I feel and how I feel and what I do. So we're always very but there's a generalization. We're always very respectful towards the land and the trees, and I think I mentioned on one of the shows about approaching trees for their assistance, and to be respectful to that tree, and not just bound up to it and throw your arms around it, which is a good thing if you're really friendly with that tree already. Yeah. But approach it in a respectful way. Ask for its permission. May I approach you, and so on and so forth. Whether you do that out loud or in your mind is entirely personal. But they would always be respectful towards whatever is being taken from the land.
Yeah. When I was doing a lot of teaching, and we'd go out into the woods, and we would be in nature, and and I would be asking them to select a tree to be with, right, to connect with. And it's like, please ask permission before you go up and sit next to this tree or to lean on this tree to connect with them. I said, because it would be like if you were in the grocery store, if you were out on the street and you saw somebody that you really liked and you went over and you just kind of plunked yourself right in their lap or sat down with your back up against their legs to connect with them, at least ask permission. And it's a way to practice your intuition. What is it? What does a yes feel like? What does a no feel like?
Yeah.
And so, very interesting. We're going to have to do another show just on Druid stuff, because that would take a whole hour at least, just to cover up marginally, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So for those that are watching, thank you very much for being with us. And those who will be watching the recorded show, thank you very much. You can catch From Star to Stone on the second Tuesday of every month at, 8 a.m.? 9 a.m. Eastern.
9 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, that's 8 a.m. here in Central. So
2 p.m. GMT.
2 p.m. at GMT. And so you can catch them. They have some fascinating topics that if you want to catch Mervyn and his co-host, Tracey Sivek. So with that, Mervyn, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon, taking the time to be with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. And if you want to hang out in the green room for a little bit, I got a couple things that I want to cover with folks, and then we'll chat just a little bit afterwards, okay?
Okay.
Thanks. All right. Wasn't that fun? We got to cover that Druid stuff more. That's like calling Native American holy people. Well, you should cover that stuff a little bit more, right? A little bit more respectful, I think. All right. So I wanted to cover just a couple things with you guys. I wanted to show you and talk a little bit about the November issue of Star Nations magazine. Okay, here we go. That's the cover. And Star Nations magazine, I wanted to let you know, that comes in digital for your phones and iPads and tablets and that kind of stuff, your mobile devices. But it also comes as a PDF, web viewer, and also print on demand. See, what we did was we had asked our readers, our community, how would you like to have the magazine? And we started out digital because that was the easiest and fastest really way to get it out. And then, I don't know, a few months later, we offered it as a print on demand, and we went as a print on demand because that way we're not wasting paper. We're not wasting trees, the life of a tree, right? And so you can get the print on demand, the web viewer, and the PDF from our partners at MagCloud. I'm going to write this up here, magcloud.com. And if you go to their website, just search for Star Nations Magazine, and you'll find us there. And you can order your print on demand from them. Okay. Yeah. And I also wanted to share with you, we also have, every year we do a special magazine issue. And each year we choose a different topic. And this year, the special magazine is about Grandmother Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia. And if you're doing the digital, here's the cover for that. This is a very special cover. That was a picture that was taken by my business partner, Denise Iwana Francisco, a friend of hers out in South Dakota. And so she graciously, and we appreciate the sharing of that photo for this cover. If you're doing digital with your phone or tablet, it is free, a free magazine. It's a thank you to our readers. And if you are like print on demand, it's nominal. It's for the printing cost and the shipping cost, right? And I think it's Google, because we offer it both for Apple and Android. And Google changed something this year. We can't offer it for free. We have to offer it for 99 cents. Last year it was free. This year their new rule is that it has to be the nominal of 99 cents. So if you'd like to have that information about Grandmother Earth, there's lots of really great articles in there about our connection to Grandmother Earth. We call her Unchimaka, Kokmiski Khan in Potawatomi, and I think you'd really like it. We also have a couple of books that we published. You might recognize them. This is Minnie Kansman's book, Missing Nana. It's a great book. It's a children's book, and it's about grief, how children grieve for someone, maybe the first time they've experienced a loved one walking on, crossing over, and how nature spirits can help us through our grief. And it's a wonderful book, and the pictures in there are fantastic. The pictures are done by Christine Pollock. She's a fine artist, and she does work with spirit. And that comes in an ebook and also as a paperback. And hey, hi Marvin. Sorry about that. I was going to go back to solo. Oops. All right. And then the other book that we have is by Julie Hedges. And Julie Hedges authored the book, The Tarot Journey, Volume 1. And what we helped Julie do was gather all of the articles that she had written for Star Nations magazine about the tarot, the ancient language of the tarot. And we put them all in one place in a book. And we were able to offer that as an ebook and also as a print book, paperback. And you can get that from lulu.com. Put that up. Lulu.com. For both the print and also the digital, the ebook. But it also is offered at, both books actually are both offered at barnesandnoble.com and also at amazon.com, if that's how you like to do your books, right? Hey, well, and what great gifts for Christmas, because with the holidays coming up, sometimes you just don't know what to get somebody. And maybe they have an interest in either the tarot, or maybe they have somebody that they love that's going through the grieving process, and you can help them out with the book. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining me today and a special time in the afternoon, and enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll see you again next week, Tuesday, for Star Nations Communications from Home, where my guests are going to be the authors of those two books. And we get to chat with them and get some of the backstory of how they came to their books and what they'd like to share with you. So join me next week, Tuesday, at our regular time at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of the week, and we'll see you next week. All right. Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi until we see each other again. Good night, good night. See, I'm in a rut. Have a good day, everybody.